Hello and welcome to News on the Hour. In the next 1 hour, we'll get you all the latest news and updates from national, international, and also we'll have a sports segment. It's a power-packed 1 hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. First up, the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to visit Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Both states down south get a big infra and developmental push. PM to hand over the state-of-the-art Arjun main battle tank to the Indian Army. PM to inaugurate second phase of the Chennai Metro Rail project costing rupees 3,770 crore. More than 99% business being transacted in first leg of budget session with passage of two important bills from both houses. The House would reconvene on March 8 after recess. India's battle against COVID-19 continues. More than 8.2 million beneficiaries vaccinated against COVID-19. More than 7,600 healthcare workers received second dose on the first day. Union Health Secretary reviews COVID-19 vaccination drive with all states and union territories. White House has deep concerns over China rule in WHO COVID-19 report. Joe Biden administration demands data from early days of the outbreak. China fires back. US Senate acquits Donald Trump in impeachment trial on charge of inciting insurrection. Many Republicans back former president. Senate voted 57-43 to acquit former President Donald Trump on a charge of inciting the January 6 riot at the US Capitol. Table turns on day 2 of the Chennai test. England responding well with spinner Moeen Ali taking 2 early wickets of India in the first session itself. Well, let's start with our top story. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit the southern states of India, Tamil Nadu and Kerala on a day-long visit to pave way for various developmental projects. The Prime Minister will hand over the state-of-the-art Arjun main battle tank to the Indian Army at Chennai and also inaugurate the Chennai Metro Rail Phase 1 extension. The Prime Minister will also lay foundation stones for several projects in the southern Indian state. Here's more.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate and lay the foundation stones for several crucial projects in Chennai. These projects will add momentum to the growth trajectory of Tamil Nadu and help hasten the pace of realizing its full development potential. Included in the Prime Minister's itinerary is the inauguration of the extension of Chennai Metro Rail Phase 1, which has been completed at a cost of nearly 3,770 crore rupees. Prime Minister will also inaugurate the line from Washerman Pit to Vimkonagar on the occasion. This 9.05 km long extension line will link North Chennai with the airport and central railway station. Prime Minister will inaugurate the 4th railway line between Chennai Beach and Attipattu. This 22.1 km section, laid at a cost of 293.40 crore rupees, traverses through Chennai and Thiruvallur districts and will ease out traffic from Chennai port. Prime Minister will also inaugurate the railway electrification of single-line section in Viluppuram, Kadalur, Mayilathurai, Tanjavur and Mayilathurai, Thiruvarur. Completed at a cost of 423 crore rupees, the electrification of this 228 km route will enable free flow of traffic without the need for a change of traction between Chennai, Egmore and Kanyakumari and would result in a saving of rupees 14.61 lakh per day on fuel cost. During the event, the Prime Minister will hand over the state-of-the-art Arjun main battle tank Mark 1A to the Indian Army. This battle tank has been indigenously designed, developed and manufactured by Combat Vehicle Research and Development Establishment and DRDO, along with 15 academic institutions, 8 labs and several MSMEs. The Prime Minister will lay the foundation stone for the extension, renovation and modernization of the Grand Anicut Canal system that plays a key role in irrigation in the Delta districts. Prime Minister will also lay the foundation stone for a satellite campus of IIT Madras called Discover the Campus It will be built at Thayur near Chennai at an estimated cost of 1,000 crore rupees in the first phase. Prime Minister's visit will add an impetus to the infrastructure push in Tamil Nadu. It will prove to be a great and significant visit not only for this generation but for many coming generations too. DD India.
Absolutely, like we said in the report, numerous projects will be announced today in some time from now in Chennai, and also Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Kerala later after Chennai. And to give us more information on this, our correspondent Ajay Joy is joining us live from Chennai. Good morning, Ajay. First of all, Chennai is all set to welcome Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and he will launch various development projects. Chennai all decked up to welcome PM Modi?
I'm from Cochin. Abhishek, I'm standing in Cochin.
Okay, he's in Kochi. I was asking you that after Chennai, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Kochi, and a slew of development projects will be announced in Kochi also?
Yes, just after the program in Chennai, he will be moving to Cochin, where he will be announcing and dedicating to nation a slew of projects. And the very important among them is the propylene derivatives complex of BPCL, whereby three chemicals, industrial chemicals, will be indigenously manufactured in India, completely replacing the imports so far. And the chemicals include acrylic acid, acrylate, and oxyalcohol. All these are very important ingredients for industry in pharma, in printing, manufacturing, and many other ancillary industries. So this the project essentially saves 4,000 crore worth foreign exchange, and that's the key for it. It's a spirit of Atmanirbharta behind the whole project, and not restricting with that. It will spark off a new industrial corridor set up in the Cochin area itself, making Cochin a potential petrochemical hub for the nation as well. And apart from the BPCL projects, we have projects lined up in the shipping sector. An international cruise terminal is being inaugurated in Cochin right now. This is the first time in India, and the terminal is getting equipped. Is completely equipped to handle 5,000 cruise passengers at a time. This is completely completely a new project after all, and it will be a great boost for the Kerala tourism sector as well, because as you know, cruise tourism is worth thousands of crore actually across the global. And apart from that, he will be releasing 2 ro-ro vessels for Cochin's inland waterways, and that will be contributing towards decongesting the road networks in Cochin. And a Marine Engineering Training Institute, which will be working under the auspices of Cochin Shipyard, that will also be inaugurated today. A new campus is being set up, and that will be dedicated to nation. And these are all dedication to the nation, and one project will be having the foundation laying ceremony today, and that also belongs to Cochin Port Trust. Their south call berth will be inaugurated for its reconstruction phase, and that will be a great boost for the FACT, Fertilizers and Chemicals Travancore. Their ammonia import will be more strengthened and optimized. And overall, it's a great day for Kerala in general and Cochin in particular.
Absolutely, like Ajay Joy, you mentioned that it's a great day for Chennai also. 2 projects will be announced there, and several projects, like you mentioned, several development projects will be announced in Kochi, Kerala also, where you are standing. But like you mentioned, Ajay, it would also add speed to fulfilling PM's vision of the dream of Atmanirbhar Bharat.
Exactly, Abhishek. I mean, that's the key point here. The 3 projects that are getting the dedication to the nation today, all these will be substituting the import that has been the norm so far. And these chemicals were critical for many industrial needs, and no longer we will require them at least. And one among these plants, acrylic plant, is the largest of its kind in the world. And that's the first thing. It is not just the first plant in India, but it's the largest plant in the world. And regarding the second, the acrylate as well. This is again the first plant in India. The third one, oxy-alcohol. This is second plant and the largest plant in India. So we are moving towards that aim where the industrial needs will be met by our own production. So it's a journey towards that dream of Atmanirbharta.
Absolutely, slew of development projects will be announced today, and it will fulfill not only for the current generation, for the future generation also. Thank you for giving us those vital inputs from Kochi, Mr. Joy. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit, like we mentioned, that he'll visit Kochi in Kerala after Tamil Nadu. PM will be inaugurating slew of developmental projects, including laying foundation stone of reconstruction of South Coal Berth at Cochinport. Here's a detailed report.
During his visit to Kerala, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the international cruise terminal Sagarika at the Cochinport. The cruise terminal is India's first full-fledged international cruise terminal that has state-of-the-art facilities and has been constructed at a cost of 25.72 crore rupees. Prime Minister will also dedicate to the nation the Ro-Ro vessels at Willingdon Islands, Cochin. The International Waterway Authority of India will deploy 2 new roll-on, roll-off vessels between Bolgatti and Willingdon Island on National Waterway 3. The Ro-Ro vessels, named MV Adi Shankara and MV CV Raman, have the capacity to carry 6 20-feet trucks, 3 20-feet trailer trucks, 3 40-feet trailer trucks, and 30 passengers each. Both the projects are historic as well as path-breaking.
मैरीटाइम सेक्टर में विजन है, वाटर ट्रांसपोर्टेशन बढ़े। कोचिन पोर्ट से साउथ केरला में कार्गो ले जाने के लिए सारा टाउन को घूम के ट्रक को जाना पड़ता था। अभी ये रोरो फेरी चालू होने से कोचिन पोर्ट पर जो कार्गो आएगा वो केवल 4 किलोमीटर डिस्टेंस से डायरेक्ट साउथ केरला में चला जाएंगे। उससे फ्यूल की भी बचत होगी, एनवायरमेंट फ्रेंडली होंगे और यातायात में सुविधा होगी।
Prime Minister will also lay the foundation stone of the reconstruction of the South Coal Berth at Cochinport. It has been reconstructed at an estimated cost of 19.19 crore rupees under the Sagarmala scheme. Upon completion, a dedicated berthing facility will be available for chemical handling at Cochinport. Reconstruction of the berth will ensure quick and efficient handling of cargo and reduce logistics cost. Prime Minister will also dedicate to the nation the propylene derivative petrochemical project PDPP of BPCL. The complex is expected to result in savings of about 3,700 to 4,000 crore rupees per annum in foreign exchange. With the commissioning, Kochi refinery has become the first Indian refinery to produce niche petrochemicals.
प्रोपलिन से सीधा टेक्सटाइल, पेंट्स, एडेसिव ऐसे इंडस्ट्री के लिए जो आज के दिनों में हम उसको आवश्यकता को पूरा करने के लिए इंपोर्ट कर रहे हैं। सालाना 4,000 करोड़ रुपया की इंपोर्ट इसी प्लांट के कारण बचत होगी। अभी हम इंपोर्ट डिपेंडेंट है इस सारे प्रोडक्ट के लिए। ये निश्चित रूप में आत्मनिर्भर भारत की ओर एक बड़ी पहल है। केरल की अर्थनीति में, केरल की रोजगार में, केरल की राजस्व आमदनी में ये एक बहुत बड़ा कदम होगा।
Prime Minister will also inaugurate the Marine Engineering Training Institute Vigyana Sagar, Cochin Shipyard Limited. It is a premier maritime learning center and is the only maritime institute in India functioning within a shipyard. Constructed at a capital cost of 27.5 crore rupees, the institute has an intake capacity of 114 fresh graduates. It will create a talent pool of marine engineers and personnel to fulfill the requirements of the maritime industry in India and abroad.
Prime Minister Modi will dedicate to the nation many big projects like Marine Engineering Institute, including International Cruise Terminal to promote tourism. A fleet of cargo ships in the Willingdon Islands will also help and accelerate the pace of development of Kerala. With my colleague Vibhav Rai and cameraman Sanjay Jaina, this is Anuj Yadav from Kochi.
Well, moving further, Lok Sabha was adjourned on Saturday as the first phase of the budget session concluded. The second half of the budget session will start from 8th March. Talking about the legislative business transacted in the Rajya Sabha, the upper house saw 99% business being transacted during the first half of the budget session. And the discussion on a motion of thanks on the President's address continued for marathon 15 hours.
During the first part of the budget session of Parliament, there was heavy legislative business transacted in both houses of Parliament. In the first week, face-off was seen between Treasury and opposition benches, leading to stalling of proceedings of Parliament. But the next week saw both houses of Parliament sitting late to finish pending legislative business. During the current week, as compared to the previous week, Rajya Sabha saw more legislative business being transacted, while the lower house of Parliament also proceedings continued late into the night. In both houses of Parliament, discussion took place on the motion of thanks on the President's address. Also, reply to the discussion on the budget in both houses was given by Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. The bills which were passed in the first part of the budget session in both houses of Parliament include Jammu Kashmir Reorganisation Amendment Bill 2021 and Major Port Authorities Bill 2020. While the National Capital Territory of Delhi Laws Special Provisions Second Amendment Bill 2021 was passed by the Rajya Sabha, the Arbitration and Conciliation Amendment Bill 2021 was passed by the Lok Sabha after discussion. Talking of legislative business transacted in the Rajya Sabha, the upper house saw 99% business being transacted during the first half of the budget session. The discussion on motion of thanks on the President's address continued for 15 hours. 88 issues of public interest were raised, that included 56 during the 0 hour and 25 special mention, while 99.50% business was transacted by the Lok Sabha, the lower house of Parliament.
प्रतिपक्ष के सभी दल के नेताओं का मैं धन्यवाद देता हूं, जिनके सहयोग से ये सदन देर रात्रि तक चला। माननीय सभी संसद सदस्यों ने राष्ट्रपति अभिभाषण पर, बजट पर देर रात्रि तक चर्चा की, संवाद किए, अपने महत्वपूर्ण सुझाव रखे।
Due to corona pandemic, for maintaining physical distance, the proceedings of Parliament were held in 2 shifts. The first half of the budget session started with the President's address on 29th January, and Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman presented the Union budget on 1st of February. The second half of the budget session will start from 8th March. Parliament team, DD India.
The Election Commission of India has begun a series of discussions with various government officials to review the preparedness of the forthcoming assembly elections in the state. The Central Election Team, led by CEC Sunil Arora, will hold a high-level meeting today with Chief Secretary of Kerala, Home Secretary, State Police Chief and other officials. The team will have further discussions with the State Chief Electoral Officer before their return to Delhi on Monday. Yesterday, the Central Election Commission team held discussions with State Chief Electoral Officer Tikaram Meena and police nodal officers. The Central Commission also met representatives of leading political parties in the state. A meeting was held with electoral officers and SPs to review the security arrangements to be made for the forthcoming assembly elections. Moving ahead, at least 14 people were killed and several injured in a collision between a bus carrying 18 people on board and a truck in Andhra Pradesh's Kurnool district in the wee hours on Sunday morning. The accident took place near Madarpuram village in Veldurti mandal of the state's Kurnool district, and the injured have been admitted to Government General Hospital. Among the dead include 1 kid, 8 women and 5 men. The rescue operations are still underway. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy has expressed shock on the accident and instructed officials to provide better medical care to the survivors. Superintendent of Police says that the accident might have happened because of driver's negligence. The bus was carrying a group of 17 to 18 people who were going to Ajmer from Madanpalli. Well, our correspondent Srinivas is joining us from Vijayawada, is joining us on the phone line. Srinivas, what latest can you give us? road accident happened in the wee hours of today, that is Sunday morning. Any info on the casualties and also any grievous injuries also? And like we mentioned in the report also that because of the driver's negligence, the accident happened?
Yes, that's true. Because of the driver negligence, apparently he was not active or alert during the drive, and his bus hit to the road divider and it flipped over to the other side of the road, and the truck was coming from the other side and opposite direction, and it hit the bus. So it was badly hit, and it got mangled actually, and it was very difficult for people, officials to retrieve all these bodies, and it was very difficult to identify them. So the police have used their Aadhaar card to trace these people, and all 18 people belong to the same family from Madanepalli Mandal in Chittoor district. They were on their way to Ajmer Dargah in Rajasthan. And as of now, the latest news is that 4 people have survived and 2 are critically in critical situation. Chief Minister has already told officials to give better treatment. So that's the update we have as of now.
Right, many, you're saying that many people are critical also and they have been admitted to the hospital. Thank you, Srinivas, for giving us those vital inputs.
Thanks.
Moving on, today marks 2 years of the Pulwama terror attack when 40 personnel of the Central Reserve Police Force were killed after a suicide bomber rammed an IED-laden vehicle into the security convoy carrying them. Remembering sacrifice of the brave hearts, the 76th Battalion of CRPF paid tribute to the martyrs at their headquarters in Jammu. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh paid homage to the brave martyrs of Pulwama terror attack. In a tweet, he said, I quote, I pay homage to those brave CRPF India personnel who sacrificed their lives in 2019 Pulwama terror attack. India will never forget their service to the nation and their supreme sacrifice. We continue to stand with their families who had to suffer due to this attack. And BJP's National President JP Nadda also paid tributes to the CRPF personnel who lost their lives in the attack. He said the nation will always be indebted to the indomitable courage, valor of these soldiers. Uttarakhand update now. In Uttarakhand, search and rescue operations continue for the 8th day today at Tapovan in Chamoli. The operations have been intensified following the recovery of 2 bodies from a tunnel today. These bodies are recovered during the 180-meter tunnel cleaning process. Total number of deaths rose to 40 and 164 are still missing. Chamoli District Magistrate Swati Bhadoria briefed media persons the details.
यहाँ पे टनल में जो रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशंस रात से चल रहे थे तो उसमें 2 डेड बॉडीज़ रिकवर हुई हैं। उनको एक 4:45 AM पे, एक 5:50 AM पे, और उनको दोनों को मॉर्चुरी ले जाया जा चुका है। ड्रिल का काम तो कंप्लीट हो चुका था, लेकिन फिलहाल एक्सकवेशन किया जा रहा है जिसमें से बॉडीज़ निकल रही हैं।
Right, so 2 bodies have been recovered from the tunnel, and according to the ITBP, the same tunnel where rescue works underway since 7 February to see more than 37 reported trapped. Next story now. Under the largest vaccination drive of India, more than 8.2 million beneficiaries vaccinated against COVID-19. Until last update at 8 AM, today 8,263,858 beneficiaries have been vaccinated so far. 296,211 beneficiaries were vaccinated on single day yesterday. And India has started the second dose of COVID-19 vaccine from Saturday. 7,668 healthline workers received second dose on the first day. Union Health Secretary reviews COVID-19 vaccination drive with all states and union territories and urges states and union territories to hold regular meetings of state and district level adverse events following immunization committees and to ensure that beneficiaries are informed about AEFI at vaccination session. Now, news on COVID-19 from across the country with yet another significant achievement. India's active cases are declining on a daily basis. The total active cases of the country now comprise only 1.26% of the total cases, as we are showing you with the graphics. 996 new active cases were recorded in the last 24 hours, while 11,106 new recoveries were registered in the same period. And recovery rate 97.31% continues to be one of the highest globally, and the continued rise in the recoveries has led to progressively improving national recovery rate. So the total recovered cases are 1,611,731, and the gap between active cases and recovered cases is continuously increasing and stands at 1,474,164. And according to the Indian Council of Medical Research, a total of 20,62,30,512 samples tested so far. Of these, 6,97,114 samples were tested on 13 February 2021, that is yesterday. Let's now take a look at the updates on COVID-19 from across the world. The tally of COVID-19 cases worldwide has surpassed 10 crore 90 lakh 91,326. The total recoveries stand 8 crore 11 lakh 17,985, and the deadly virus has claimed over 24 lakh 4,000 lives globally. The US continues to remain the worst affected from COVID-19, where more than 2 crore 81 lakh 96,000 cases have been registered. The country has reported over 4 lakh 96,000 lives due to COVID-19. In another international news, the White House on Saturday called on China to make available data from the earliest days of the COVID-19 outbreak, saying it has deep concerns about the way the findings of the World Health Organization's COVID-19 report were communicated. White House National Security Advisor said in a statement that it is imperative that the report be independent and free from alteration by the Chinese government, echoing concerns raised by the administration of former President Donald Trump, who also moved to quit the WHO over the issue. China has fired back at Washington after it raises concerns about WHO COVID report. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom on Friday said all hypotheses were still open about the origins of COVID-19 after Washington said it wanted to review data from a WHO-led. And the public response to Britain's COVID-19 vaccine campaign has been great so far, the head of NHS England, Stephen Powis, said on Saturday. He said more than 4 out of 5 people offered a jab had agreed, but also encouraged people who were doubtful that the vaccine was safe and effective. Britain reported that 1 crore 45 lakh 5,627 people had received the first shot of COVID-19 vaccine, about 21% of the total population, putting the country on course to meet its target of reaching the most vulnerable and top priority groups by Monday. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson visited factories in northeast England on Saturday as the government nears its target of offering COVID-19 vaccines to 15 million people in priority groups. Johnson visited a biotechnology, a company in Newcastle upon Tyne which has developed a fast COVID-19 testing kit. He also visited a facility in Seaton, Delaware, manufacturing PPE used by medical staff and others. With infections and hospitalizations beginning to fall, Johnson is under pressure from some in his own party to set out when strict lockdown restrictions, which have caused the biggest crash in economic output in more than 300 years, will be eased. Catalonia disinfected polling stations on Saturday ahead of the regional election scheduled for Sunday. As part of the security measures in place to control the spread of COVID-19 during the elections, workers used a nebulizer to spray disinfectant over ballot boxes, corridors and tables. Authorities say every polling station in the region will be disinfected several times during election day. And despite the recent drop in the number of COVID-19 cases, Catalonia is still the second worst hit region in Spain, and hospitals are under intense pressure, leading health workers to express concern over the potential for spreading the virus on the voting day. And the first 1 lakh doses of Russia's Sputnik V coronavirus vaccine arrived in Venezuela on Saturday. President Nicolas Maduro said medical and health personnel would be the first to receive the vaccine given their exposure to COVID-19. The vaccines arrived in Caracas International Airport on a special flight from Moscow on Conviasa Airlines. For months, Venezuela's government has said the South American country would receive 10 million doses of the Sputnik V vaccine, although the vaccine's maker has not confirmed that figure. Venezuelan government officials and opposition leaders have met to discuss buying coronavirus vaccines through the international COVAX program using cash frozen in the United States by economic sanctions, but no deal has been made. Moving further, the US Senate on Saturday acquitted Donald Trump of inciting the mob that stormed the Capitol last month, sparing him from conviction in his second impeachment trial in a year, despite broad condemnation of his role in sparking the deadly siege. The Senate voted 57-43 in favor of convicting the former president, falling short of the two-thirds majority needed to do so. In the vote, 7 of the 50 Senate Republicans joined the chamber's unified Democrats in favoring conviction after a week-long trial in the same building, ransacked by Trump's followers after they heard him deliver an incendiary speech on January 6th. President pro tempore of Senate Patrick Leahy during the trial announced former President Donald John Trump not guilty as charged of the article of impeachment.
The yeas are 57, the nays are 43. Two-thirds of the senators present not having voted guilty. The Senate judges that the respondent, Donald John Trump, former President of the United States, is not guilty as charged in the article of impeachment. The presiding officer directs judgment to be entered in accordance with the judgment of the Senate as follows. The Senate, having tried Donald John Trump, former President of the United States, upon one article of impeachment exhibited against him by the House of Representatives, and two-thirds of the senators present not having found him guilty of the charge contained therein, it is therefore ordered and adjudged that the said Donald John Trump be, and he is hereby acquitted of the charge in said article.
And Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer on Saturday called the acquittal of former President Donald Trump a vote of infamy following the Senate's failure to obtain a two-thirds majority to convict him. Following the vote, Schumer took to the Senate floor where they accused Republicans who voted in favor of Trump of choosing the former president over country. He said and I quote, the most despicable act that any president has ever committed. The majority of Republicans cannot summon the courage or the morality to condemn it, unquote.
The failure to convict Donald Trump will live as a vote of infamy in the history of the United States Senate. The former president tried to overturn the results of a legitimate election and provoked an assault on our own government. And well over half the Senate Republican Conference decided to condone it. The most despicable act that any president has ever committed, and the majority of Republicans cannot summon the courage or the morality to condemn it. This was about choosing country over Donald Trump. And if Donald Trump ever stands for public office again, and after everything we have seen this week, I hope, I pray, and I believe that he will meet the unambiguous rejection by the American people.
Also, U.S. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell called Donald Trump practically and morally responsible for his supporters' deadly attack on the Capitol only moments after voting to acquit the Republican former president on an impeachment charge of inciting the melee. The top Senate Republican explained the unexpected turnabout at the end of a five-day impeachment trial by declaring it unconstitutional to convict Trump of misconduct now that the former president has left office and become a private citizen.
If President Trump were still in office, I would have carefully considered whether the House managers proved their specific charge. By the strict criminal standard, the president's speech probably was not incitement. However, in the context of impeachment, the Senate might have decided this was acceptable shorthand for the reckless actions that preceded the riot. But in this case, the question is moot because former President Trump is constitutionally not eligible for conviction. Put another way, in the language of today, President Trump is still liable for everything he did while he was in office.
And former U.S. President Donald Trump thanked his defense team and his supporters and cast himself as being the subject of the country's greatest witch hunt after Saturday's acquittal in the U.S. Senate at his second impeachment trial after being accused of inciting the mob that stormed the Capitol last month. Trump published his statement on social media platform Gab due to being kicked off Twitter shortly before his presidential term ended. Trump took a swipe at the Democratic Party, saying they had a free pass to denigrate the rule of law, defame law enforcement, cheer mobs, accuse rioters, and transform justice into a tool of political vengeance. Moving further, Italian President Sergio Mattarella sworn in Italy's new government on Saturday in a ceremony at the end of weeks of political discussions. Prime Minister-designate Mario Draghi took charge of Italy's new government on Friday and unveiled a cabinet that mixed unaffiliated technocrats with politicians from across his broad coalition. Next week, there will be debates in both houses of the parliament where Draghi will unveil his policy plans and face votes of confidence. And in Italy itself, 2 people died and some 10 were injured on Saturday after multiple cars piled up on the A32 motorway between Turin and Bardonecchia in northern Italy. Police believe the accident, which involved about 25 cars, occurred due to ice on the road. A cold weather snap is sweeping across Italy, with temperatures in many parts of the country expected to drop below zero. All right, we'll slip into a very short break. On the other side, more stories.
A global pandemic that's causing havoc worldwide. Search for an effective vaccine is on. Until then, the only option is caution and prevention. Now that the country has opened up under Unlock 5, it's all the more critical that we don't let our guard down. Face mask has been found to be the most effective means to fight the spread of COVID-19. World Health Organization and various researchers have also found that masks are critical in mitigating the spread of COVID-19. When you wear a mask, you protect yourself and people around you. Wearing a face mask helps prevent the spread of COVID-19, but only if worn properly.
बिना मास्क या फेस कवर के घर से बाहर निकलने की अभी कल्पना करना भी सही नहीं है.
Be a part of DD India campaign. Mask Up India. Come and join our initiative to fight COVID-19. Share your stories of masking up with us on Facebook and Twitter.
Mask Up India.
It's a simple task. Just wear a mask.
Mask Up India.
Mask Up India.
Mask Up India.
As the day unfolds and news and events take shape, we get you complete coverage of every news breaking in, tracking new developments as they happen. Midday Prime English, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. on DD News and DD India.
और इस गीत के बाद
और इंडिया रेडियो
It has undergone 9 revisions. Cully, with 903 rating points, is 34 points behind Smith, 900.
This is All India Radio. The news read by Anuja Kumar. Namaskar.
So welcome back after a very short break. We have a very interesting sports segment ahead, but before that, let's look at some more international stories. A strong earthquake with a preliminary magnitude of 7.1 hit off the coast of eastern Japan on Saturday, shaking buildings in Tokyo, but there appeared to be no major damage and no tsunami warning was issued. The epicenter of the earthquake was off the coast of Fukushima prefecture at a depth of 60 km. The earthquake hit late night and shook buildings in the capital. There were no reports of irregularities at the Tokaimura nuclear facility. The Met agency said no tsunami warning had been issued. The quake hit off the coast of Fukushima just weeks before the 10-year anniversary of the March 11, 2011 quake that devastated northeast Japan and triggered a massive tsunami, leading to the world's worst nuclear crisis in a quarter of a century. An Armenian TV channel published a video showing the moment when a news anchor reacted to an earthquake which shook the country on Saturday. The news studio was hit by the quake in the middle of the show when the host was talking to his guest. The earthquake with a magnitude of 4.7 struck 8 kilometers southeast of Armenia's capital, Yerevan. Armenia is vulnerable to destructive earthquakes. And in 1988, a massive earthquake flattened towns and villages across widths of then Soviet Armenia, killing 25,000 people and leaving tens of thousands homeless. Well, very scary visual that was. Moving ahead, hundreds of people were seen dancing on a frozen lake in Amsterdam on Saturday, defying coronavirus rules on gathering. People gathered and danced to upbeat music on the ice, while others with skate, with many holding cups or drinking. Government regulations state that for winter activities like ice skating, people may only go with one person who is not in their household. The rules state that a distance of 1.5 meters should be kept except for children up to and including 17 years old. Afghanistan now, at least 10 people were hurt when a gas tanker exploded at a customs post in Afghanistan on Saturday. Officials said as scores of local residents tried to control a massive fire at the scene near the Iranian border. The blaze in the border town of Islam Khala in Herat province spread to dozens of nearby fuel trucks. It was not immediately clear what caused the gas tanker to explode. 10 injured people were taken to hospital and the number of casualties could rise. Myanmar now, various anti-junta protester groups banded together in the Myanmar capital on Saturday to rally on the 106th birth anniversary of respected General Aung San, the late father of ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi. Thousands of protesters, which included ordinary people, student union members and athletes, joined the Saturday rally, marched in different areas of Naypyidaw. And it was hard to fall asleep in Myanmar's biggest city on Friday night as people banged on pots and pans, warning each other of security forces how to make night arrests. An anonymous videographer who witnessed such an event told that the crowd had at least once made the police turn back from driving towards the direction of West Yangon Hospital. And the First Lady of the United States, Jill Biden, decorated the White House for the Valentine's Day. Jill and US President Joe Biden took their dogs for a stroll. Jill is seen dressed up in a long raspberry coat and black boots. There are oversized hearts emblazoned with words like kindness, hope, strength, love, compassion, family, and unity. Well, sports now will start with cricket. On day 2 of Chennai Test, Team India were all out on 329 in 95.5 overs and they could only add 29 runs in 7.5 overs in the first session and lost 4 wickets. And Moeen Ali took 2 wickets in the first over itself. Pant was left stranded in the crease, and not a bad start for India also. They have also claimed 1 wicket and the latest score is 15 for 1. Well, Gaurav, our sports correspondent, is joining us live from the newsroom. Good morning, Gaurav. Not a bad start for India also, but first of all, let's talk about Indian batting. They could only add 29 runs and lost 4 wickets in 7.5 overs, but it's not a bad score that India has made.
Yeah, Abhishek, definitely it's not a bad score because you've scored 329 runs, and now England in a mental pressure because they have to first chase 329 runs, and then they have to look forward because in their mind there's something also going on because they have to come on the fourth day to bat in the second inning also. So this is becoming a mental pressure on England team. But yes, if we talk about the Indian team, one phrase is very much famous in cricket, that you can't take anything granted. That's what happened from the Indian side, because as they come in their first on the day 2, they were 300 for 6 wickets and then they lose their 4 wickets in a very quick session. That's what India has to learn. India has to learn, because you can't go for anything for granted. Because Rishabh Pant was a set batsman. Just what the thing is needed, that the other side batsmen should go with him and stay there. But that what had not happened. We were expecting that India could score around 350 or around 400, but that not happened. But nonetheless, this is whatever the score India has, and they could do a better. They could perform.
Absolutely, Gaurav. Like you said, India will definitely try to restrict England to a low score, and they have got a dream start. In fact, if I may say that, Ishant Sharma got the wicket in the first over itself, and they are 15 for 1 in 7 overs. But Gaurav, how is the pitch behaving? In the sense that we saw Moeen Ali's delivery yesterday, pitch of a delivery, he got out Virat Kohli, and the wicket started turning in the first day itself. Now, how the pitch looks like?
Abhishek, it's lots of talk is going on the pitch, how the pitch will behave. It was very much seen that on the first day it was turning, but as the Indian batsman played, it never looks that it can become much difficult for anyone. Especially as the Rohit Sharma has played of a 161 run innings. He played superbly on that pitch, and as the day will progress, the pitch will become older, and the gaps will be coming harder and harder. So you can expect some more turn and some more bounce, which will especially benefit the spinner and also fast bowler. Abhishek.
Right, and Gaurav, pitch is not getting any better. Like you mentioned, that pitch will deteriorate further and India will get a good turn. So now, what do you think should be Virat Kohli's strategy, in the sense that more role of Ravichandran Ashwin, Akshar Patel and our third spinner Kuldeep Yadav, their roles will be very, very interesting. And also, to add to that, this test, India are already 1-0 down in the 4-match test series, and if we look at World Test Championship table, New Zealand, they have already qualified for the finals. India, to qualify and play New Zealand, cannot afford to lose any test match from now.
Yeah, Abhishek, if we talk about Test Championship, right now the Virat Kohli is not thinking of World Test Championship. Right now he is only looking for that this session goes good for him, and the day good for him, because you have played Kuldeep Yadav, you have Ishant Sharma, Kuldeep Yadav, Akshar Patel, R. Ashwin, and Virat Kohli is just expecting that these bowlers could effect some more, become some more pressure on England's side, so that England took some. If Virat Kohli's side took some more wickets in the first session, there will be a big pressure mount on England team, and that will certainly benefit India.
Right, Gaurav, like you mentioned, next 2 sessions will be very, very important for India, and the role of, like you also mentioned, that R. Ashwin, Akshar Patel and Kuldeep Yadav will be very, very important. And the latest news is that India are all out for 329 and England are 16, and they have lost the second wicket. Also, India have got a major breakthrough here also. Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you for giving us those vital inputs. Well, football now. Lionel Messi and Francisco Trincao scored twice as Barcelona beat Alaves for a 7th consecutive La Liga win. Trincao opened the scoring from a pass by Eli Moriba. Both players were making their first La Liga starts, and Messi doubled the lead via the inside of the post from outside the box. Trincao scored again after Messi's shot after it was saved, and then the Argentine netted an excellent 25-yard strike before Junior Firpo's close range 5th. Messi and Trincao's doubles both came on landmark days. Messi was making his 505th La Liga appearance, equaling Xavi's club record. Trincao was making the first La Liga start of his career, although he has been a regular off the bench and in cups this season. Barcelona move up to second with the victory, albeit 8 points behind leaders Atletico Madrid. And in another football story, Manchester City extended their winning run to 15 games and their lead at the top of the Premier League to 7 points as they easily defeated Tottenham at Etihad Stadium on Saturday in EPL encounter. Yaki Gundogan scored twice after Rodri had put City ahead from the penalty spot midway through the opening period. And slumping champion Liverpool fell to a third straight loss in the Premier League after a dramatic late collapse against Leicester City, conceding 3 goals in 7 minutes in a 3-1 defeat at King Power Stadium on Saturday. 4th place Liverpool dropped 6 points behind Leicester now, which climbed above Manchester United into 2nd place in the race for the Champions League qualification. The champions are in danger of losing their place in the top 4, with Chelsea and West Ham only 1 point further back. Any hopes of retaining the title seemingly are over now, because Liverpool is 10 points behind first place Manchester City, having played 2 more games. Tennis stories now. Naomi Osaka fought off 2 match points and came back to eliminate Garbiñe Muguruza in a big hitting 4th round matchup of Grand Slam champions at the Australian Open. Osaka defeated 14th seed Muguruza 4-6, 6-4, 7-5 in the 4th round of the Grand Slam. Right, we are running short of time, and that's all we have in this segment of News on the Hour. But before we leave, Snow Festival has become popular in Himachal Pradesh's Lahaul Spiti these days, and tourists are flocking to Lahaul Spiti to watch the Snow Festival and take part in the celebration with enthusiasm. The Lahaul Valley is completely covered in snow, and locals are making art. The Snow Festival is longest in the country. Look at the visuals.